Hey guys, so this is week 8. We're still focusing on financial literacy. Today we're going to be focusing on planning a budget. And so before we do that, we need to talk about what is a budget. And again, throughout this video, if you need to pause the video, if you're writing this down, go ahead and feel free to. So first things first, let's talk about what a personal budget is. A personal budget is a way of organizing income and expenses over a period of time in order to make financially responsible decisions. Okay, so obviously a personal budget is going to be individualized to the person. Not every person's budget is the same. It's based off of income, meaning how much money you're making, and expenses, meaning how much money you're spending, whether it be on paying your cell phone bill, groceries, things like that. So again, income is the money that you're bringing in. Expenses is the money that you're using to pay for other things. Okay, and obviously you need to know both of these in order to make responsible financial decisions. Okay, also a budget can span a variety of time periods, though a monthly budget is most common. So when you're planning your budget, most of the time people plan monthly, meaning what they're paying month to month and what they're bringing in. Some people do a weekly budget, but again, that's going to be individualized to the person. So let's discuss each of the components of a budget below. Let's label each of the checks below as income or an expense on a budget. So we're going to go through these and we're going to talk about whether they would be an income or an expense and why. So the first one is salary. So a salary is when you get a job. Salary is the money that you're bringing in. Okay. Some jobs you work on a salary, and some jobs you get paid monthly or weekly. Okay, so for example, as a teacher, I get paid a salary, meaning they tell me how much I get paid for 1 year, and then it gets broken up into monthly payments. Okay, whereas some people, I know kids in high school, when you're starting to work at a job, let's say like Walmart or things like that, you'll get paid weekly, and it's not a salary. Income tax. All right, income tax would be an expense. This is what you pay. Taxes, utilities is also an expense, which means like your water bill, electricity, your gas bill, things like that. Wages, that's income. So wages is like weekly. That would be what you would make weekly. So if you're working at a restaurant, your wages would be what you're earning. Food. Food is an expense. Even though we need food, we also have to spend money on purchasing food. Okay. Entertainment, also an expense, meaning we're spending money on it, whether that be going to the movies, buying a video game, your cable bill, things like your, paying for internet, your cell phone, things like that. That would be entertainment. Rent and mortgage, also an expense that you have to pay. Rent is when you are renting an apartment or a home. A mortgage is when you're purchasing a home, when you buy a home. Again, you pay that monthly. And savings is also an expense. Even though you're saving money, you're putting money into an account where you're saving it. So it's being taken out of, let's say, your checking account, which is an expense, and putting it into your savings account for further use. Okay. Next thing, fixed expenses versus variable expenses. Now, not all expenses are the same, meaning not all purchases or when you're buying something is the same. So to distinguish these, a fixed expense is the expenses that do not change from month to month. Okay, so these are the things that are reoccurring, that you're paying all the time, every single month. So, for example, your rent and mortgage, okay, that obviously you're paying month to month. Your car payment, if you have a car, You're paying that bill monthly. Car insurance, again, you must have insurance to drive a vehicle. So again, those are things that are paid month to month that do not change. So they're the same price every single month. So if your car payment is $300, you're going to pay that $300 every single month until the car is paid off. Okay. Same thing for your rent. If your rent is $1,200 a month, then that's what you're paying every single month. Okay, that doesn't change. Variable expenses are expenses that vary from month to month. So for example, utilities. Utilities are again like water and your electricity bill. Your water bill can change month to month because of the usage. Maybe in the summertime you're using more water, and versus the wintertime you're using less water, so your bill is going to change. Same thing for electricity. During the summertime, most people electricity bill goes up because they're constantly using their AC because it gets so hot outside, versus the winter time when you're not having to use your AC, so your bill goes down, or how much you pay goes down per month. So again, those are things that are per month. Groceries, again, those can vary depending on how often you go grocery shopping. Maybe one time you get enough groceries for 1 month, or then maybe you go get groceries for a week. So those vary as well. Gas bill, again, same thing as utilities. It can vary from month to month depending on how much you use. And your cell phone bill, maybe you pay your monthly bills like $45 a month, but maybe you purchase a different app, or maybe you purchase 5 apps a month, or things like that. So that can add up. It could change your bill. Okay, so we're going to look at this example and we're going to determine, it says Ricardo obtained his first job after graduating from college. After taxes, Ricardo will bring home $2,400. So he lists out a few of his expenses. So we're going to look at these and we're going to determine whether they would be a fixed expense, meaning it doesn't change month to month, meaning he's going to pay the same every single month, or whether it be a variable expense, something that could change month to month. So the first thing is rent. Okay, obviously in our example, we know that that is a fixed expense, meaning he's going to pay that same price, $800, every single month that he is renting his apartment or a house. Food, okay, a variable expense. Again, he can maybe purchase weekly or monthly, depending how much he buys, things like that. Utilities, again, that's a variable expense. They can change from month to month depending on your usage. Car payment, that's a fixed expense, meaning you know what you're going to pay every single month. So in this case, Ricardo's case, he's going to pay $340 every single month until his car is paid off. And gas, that's a variable expense depending on how much gas he's using. Now again, gas doesn't mean paying like gas for his, well, it could be gas for his car. So again, that just depends. Maybe he's going out of town. Maybe he doesn't drive as much one week, or things like that. So then the two other questions says, how much money has Ricardo yet to budget? So meaning how much money does he have left after all of his fixed and variable expenses? So we know that he makes $2,400 because of the information that's given us, and the table shows how much he's spending on all of these expenses. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the amount that he brings home, $2,400, and we're going to subtract all of these expenses. So meaning we're going to have to add all of these up. So we're going to take his $2,400, and after you add all of these amounts up, you should get $1,810. And we're going to subtract them to see how much he has left. And in this case, he has $590 yet to budget, meaning that's how much he has left after paying all of these fixed and variable expenses. Question number 2 says, He decides to include his student loan payment in his budget. Is this a fixed or a variable expense? So a student loan, again, is after you graduate college, you start paying back your student loans, but this would be a fixed income, meaning you would say you would pay the same amount onto your student loan every single month. It would not change, okay? So that would be a fixed expense. So hopefully you found this video useful. I'm going to post a Google activity in Schoology. It's 3 slides. Make sure you complete all 3 slides and then submit it through Schoology when you are finished. If you have any other questions, again, you can always look at the textbook that is in Clever if you need a bit more clarification, or you could email me with questions that you might have. Okay, so again, hopefully you have a great Tuesday.